Hey guys, welcome to Night Owls. Happy New Year, Sasha.
Happy New Year.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since we've done the show. It's just been a lot of stuff happening. And if you guys are new to Night Owls, this is our kind of informal show. We usually do it every Sunday night at 9 p.m. But last week I was driving back from Colorado because my dad, his health condition, I wanted to go out and see him. And then there was, I think the one night was New Year's Eve, I think, was it on Sunday night or something like
Yes, it
that. So
was.
it was, we had just had a lot of stuff going on. So we're back into it. And I asked Sasha if she wanted to do it tonight. And she said yes. And I'm like, cool, because we like doing this. This is a show we really don't have scripted. Might have a couple things we talk about, but it's really up to you guys and what we decide to talk about. We've had these shows go for just like 30 minutes, or sometimes it goes 2 hours. It just depends on things. And I just have to, guys, give you a disclaimer. I am cold. I'm
Me
cold.
too.
It is bitter cold here, and it's expensive to heat everything. Right now, officially, it's 6 degrees Fahrenheit. And I
Yeah,
don't know what
it's
that it is in Celsius, but it's damn cold.
supposed to get
And
colder too.
we're not gonna get above freezing until Wednesday. So that's what the
No.
forecast is. So next couple days, bitter cold. And I have dog, Sasha's dog, my dog, a Button. I have her here, and it's got so cold she doesn't want to go outside to do her
Sasha's
business. So
dog.
after,
Give me a break. That dog is yours.
I
It's just
know
like
it's
every
your
time she's
father,
like,
so
"Oh, I love you, Paul." Oh.
I know
Like you
that's
guys, I would think that dog was your girlfriend if I didn't know any better.
yeah,
Like
it's a
you
sweet
talk
little
about her
dog.
24/7. It's like your best friend.
Well, no, she doesn't want to go outside because it's too
I
cold.
don't
So I
blame
got to
her.
force her. Well, she's got to do her business, so I don't want to do it at the house. So she's really well house trained, but this cold, she's like, and she doesn't like the snow because we got snow, and
Yeah,
this is unusual for us to get some snow in Arkansas. Or I guess it's not unusual every week whenever we
not in
get some, but
January. We get snow in January.
yeah, we get snow. But I mean, it's not. We don't usually get deep snow, and it's not super deep, but it's so cold and bitter. And I'm glad I parked up on the driveway. I didn't park down, otherwise I'd be stranded here. So far my power hasn't gone off though, thank God, knock on wood. But I'm prepared this year. Remember last year we had that bad snowstorm? I was literally stuck in my house for a couple days. The power was off. I couldn't get out of my house because I was on the lower level. And boy, ever since then I've prepared in case of a weather emergency. My car's up high now,
Right.
and I got my candles and everything else. So hopefully everything will be good.
I think it'll be hopefully I don't think the power will go out now.
I hope not either.
Not.
So it's cold here though, guys. I don't know. I think a lot of parts in the country are very cold.
They
There's a
are.
big Arctic cold wave over the United States, and we are definitely a part of it. And I'm officially tired of winter. I wish winter be over like a New Year's, and January 1st spring would come.
I
I'd
don't
be
know.
fine
I'm
with
kind
that.
of liking it because I get off work. And so it's like I'm able
Yeah.
to like stay here and do a lot of things I needed to get done and I'm kind of catching up on
Sasha,
stuff.
you're
Hello?
Sasha.
Yeah.
Sasha.
What? You're like
Hey, Sasha,
frozen.
we're having connection problems.
Okay, well I don't know what you want me to do about it.
Sasha, we're having connection problems.
Yeah,
Sasha, can you
I
hear
can
me?
yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I got.
You're the one
Yeah,
that's
Sasha,
freezing.
listen, we're having connection
I
problems
know.
here.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
I can't hear you
Yes.
very well. You're lagging, so we're having connection problems here, guys.
Okay. You're the one that's kind of was
I can't hear
freezing.
you. I can't hear you.
Okay, I don't know what to do.
You're freezing on my end, so I don't.
You're freezing
I
on
don't.
my
Well,
end.
hopefully it get better, guys. Sorry about that. It may be on my end. It could be because of all this weather and stuff. Who knows? Maybe they're having issues. So,
Maybe so. I
oh,
mean,
it
if you
seems better now.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're just getting some. I'm hearing you, then you lag, but it could be. It might be on my end, my internet. But I
I
don't know if it
I
is
can
that.
hear you fine when you were saying we're having problems. I could hear you the whole time. Like on
Okay.
my end, you were freezing up and you were kind of like roboting out. So I think it's probably
That
like you live in the shithole country. That's probably like why I bet your internet's messed up because I have my internet's fine. It looks fine
My
anyway.
internet's been fine all day though, so I
Mine
don't know. But
too.
it could be. So sorry about that, guys. It seems to be corrected itself now.
Yeah,
I
people
don't
are
think
saying it's on your end
it's on
in the
my end.
chat.
Okay, guys.
People are saying it's you,
Yeah.
not me. See, told you.
Uh, all right. Let me try something. Hang on here, Sasha. I'm gonna just to adjust something. I'll be right back. All right, I try to adjust something here, so I don't know if this is going to be better, but sorry about that, guys. That we just had a little. I don't know if it's maybe the power. I got a couple space heaters going on, so I don't know if that would do it. I don't know. That probably doesn't make sense, does
I
it?
don't know. Don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
we can
So,
just keep it short if we have problems, I guess.
well, I'm
Now
okay
they're
now.
saying
I'm
you're
okay.
okay. So what
Yeah,
did you do?
I just turned off one of the heaters.
Oh,
And I
I don't
just
know.
want to know if I'm just drawing too much. Like my bill's going to be so high this month.
Oh,
It's
mine
pretty crazy.
too. It's been going nonstop.
Yeah.
I've got a
Yeah. Yeah.
blanket on my lap because it's so cold down here, but upstairs it feels nice and toasty. But down here,
Yeah.
especially sitting by the door, like where the table's at, it's like my legs get cold. So, hey, get down. Come here. Oh, troublemaker.
All right.
I
So,
caught her in my plate today. She's been naughty all day. This is Louise, if anybody didn't
hey,
know.
Louise. Yes, that's sweet, sweet.
Usually she's not up here. It's usually Buddy. Oh, he's up here now too.
Let's see here. I got a. By the way, guys, if you want to get involved with this, you can. There's Power Chat, there's Super Chats, there's Ramps, and there's Stream Elements. And I got one from Kim. He's a Finnish guy. He sent this earlier, and I'll copy this in. So thank you, Kim. And he said there is a popular Finnish commercial. Let's see here. Finnish commercial pilots channel, Tapio on the move, only Finnish. I asked them about how would an EMP affect a modern airplane. Boom, I was out. We are not here for this kind of discussions. Well, EMP is that I think electronic warfare, electronic magnetic pulse. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I think
And
I've
it
heard
could
of
like
it.
take out everything. So let me just take a look here. So electromagnetic pulse is something that can happen that it messes everything up. It's a short surge of energy and it can cause disruption. So if that should happen, it could cause problems with the
Internet.
flights, I would assume.
Oh,
Yeah,
flights.
when the internet and a lot of things. Yeah, anything that's has electronics, and it could be used as a weapon, or it can happen like a sun has an solar flare, I think you call them, cause them. Sorry about that. So I will have. I don't know. Of the things I'm worried about, though, that's kind of far down the list, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about stuff like that, but who knows? So, yeah. I got one from Tony. Thank you, Tony. $5. Let me copy this over. Appreciate this, Tony. And sorry about the little glitch I had earlier, guys. I think it was my end of the internet. I did the roundtable today, no issue. So I'm not sure. I just think, the power grid is probably so stressed now, Sasha, over the whole county and this whole area.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
We're not really equipped for this type of weather.
No, it really it doesn't. Oh, Dylan said EMP requires lots of copper. Yeah, Dylan's the guy that sent me that big copper bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this right here.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, this is heavy too. That's pretty cool. So this is great. And so thanks for that comment. Okay, Ramsey, this is Tony. Rams and Sasha, not to get into drama, but what is going on with Sticks? He is back in America now calling Vivek a plant and saying vote for Trump or America dies otherwise. Is Sticks doing okay right now? Well, I'll answer this first. I like Sticks a lot. He was a co-host of Happy Homelands. I hope to collaborate with him in the future. So I'm on good terms with him, but he's not like someone I like talk to every day or something like that, or I don't know his personal life. And I know there's been a lot of rumors. He's back in America. I'm not sure what's going on with his marriage. I mean, there's a lot of rumors, but I don't have any inside information, so I'm not going to speculate. Um, Sticks, I think years ago, around 2016, when he really blew up, he got retweeted, I believe, by Donald Trump, and that really helped Sticks. And I think Sticks has always been very loyal to Trump, I would say. And so I'm not too surprised because Trump came out against Vivek, which I didn't really think was that fair because Vivek's always supported Trump. And Stickson is now, whatever Trump says, I think Stick is going to go that line. That's just kind of my thing. Is he doing okay? I guess he's doing okay. He seems okay to me. I don't know, I don't know any different. So that's kind of my take on that. How about you, Sasha?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know Sticks personally
Yeah.
or anything. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going through his mind.
Yeah, I don't either. So that's kind of my thing on that. So again, I guess in the summary, the two TLDR, too long to not read version. I like Sticks. I don't know personally what's going on with them. I'm not surprised that he supports Trump. That's always been his bread and butter. So that doesn't really surprise me. And I disagree with him on that a little bit. And I'm not opposed to Trump. As I said today in my roundtable, everything's so binary. If you disagree with someone on some positions and, oh, you must hate him. And I'm like, no. I mean, if Trump is a candidate, I will vote for him. But I do like Vivek too. So that's kind of my position there. And I don't know. So that's it. That's kind of right. But good question. Good question on that. And let's just see what else to talk about. Oh, I want to thank. We got this Happy New Year's. I think it is. Let me just show you guys this. Got this in my from Sweden. So thank you. This Happy New Year's 2024. Best wishes, Borje. How do you say that, Borge? From Sweden. So thank you. I have some Swedish followers. I've been to Sweden. It's a beautiful country. I would love to see it again, but I really like the Swedish people. So thank you so much for that. And I really do appreciate it. And let's see here. Sasha, I should copy paste. So if you guys want to write me or Sasha, I do have a P.O. box in Fayetteville. And it's Paul Ramsey, P.O. Box 8093, Fayetteville, Arkansas, 72703. Borga, he said. Borga is how you pronounce it. Okay. And yeah, Sasha, before the show, the last night when I went to my father's, my stepmother gave me a couple of his CDs, they were kind of clearing out. So my dad likes Westerns, and I never seen two classics. There was Shane and there was Stagecoach. And tonight, just right before the show, I finished Stagecoach, the 1939 version. It was with John Wayne. He was one of his early movies. And I saw Shane, and I'll kind of give you my opinions on that. Have you ever seen either, Sasha?
No.
Shane was pretty good. It was in the 50s, though. And I don't know if it's just because of the era or maybe I'm more cynical now, but it just seemed I don't want to use the term corny, but by today's sensibilities, it just didn't seem. I don't know. I didn't get into the characters that much. It's considered supposed to be a classic, and Shane's kind of like the lone gunman, and he just wants to turn his life around to be a farmhand, but trouble brews, so he has to stand up for the community. Basically, that's the idea, and it kind of gets into the rancher versus farmer dynamic because in Wyoming, they used to just be wide open range, but then they had what they called sod busters, which were farmers come up. And so I think that was it was interesting. And an interesting thing is in both these movies, they mentioned the Civil War because Americans at that time was only about 20, 30 years prior in the 1880s, 20 years, you had the Civil War. And actually, the ex-Confederate guy was kind of a good guy in Shane. That's kind of funny. And Stagecoach, too. So it's kind of interesting how our sensibilities have changed. But Shane, it was in the 50s movie, as a color movie. A lot of guys liked it. I didn't really get into it that much. I think it was okay. It just didn't really strike me that well. But I really love Stagecoach. I saw Stagecoach. First time I've ever seen it. It's a classic. It's really a character study. You have these people that are put together. There's this prostitute. There's John Wayne, who plays the role of Ringo. He's kind of a outlaw. And then you had this aristocratic Confederate guy and this lady from Virginia, kind of in that sense, and she's pregnant. And you had this guy, doctor, that's kind of an alcoholic. And he had like a clown character that's kind of silly, but it really comes together well. They did a lot of really cool stunts in that movie in the 30s. It even holds up to today. And I found it interesting. I'd rate that 5 stars. Shane, I'd give 3 out of 5. Stagecoach is a classic. It was a really good movie, and I highly recommend it if you're into westerns. It's really, I think, is good for the genre. So I've been trying to catch up on some of that on some time, just the movies.
Yeah.
Did you ever get into westerns at all, Sasha?
Not really. My dad liked westerns, but
yeah, I think older people did. Gunsmoke was so popular, Bonanza.
Yeah, he loved Gunsmoke and Bonanza.
I never really got into too much. I did like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And a lot of the issue is that westerns that I kind of like, they were more modern, where you kind of have the anti-hero and more gritty with Clint Eastwood. I guess with Shane, it was kind of the precursor to that, because it was kind of the strong, silent type that finally, had to stand up for the town. He was kind of like a precursor to a Clint Eastwood character, but not as, it didn't have the grittiness that you'd have in modern day movies about that era. Although Stagecoach kind of did. It was kind of weird how that happened. In some ways, movies in the 30s were sometimes better than movies in the 50s. I don't know why that was, but it had a more sense of realism about it or something. So I really enjoyed Stagecoach.
I think the Hays Code kind of messed stuff up too with the censors back then.
What year did that come out?
I think the 30s sometime. Because some of the early 30s movies are pretty good. Like that movie I told you about with Barbara Stanwyck, Babyface, like stuff like that came out before the code. There was a set that DVDs that came out, I don't know, 15 years ago that Turner Classic Movies put out, and I've got copies of them, and it was like the Forbidden Hollywood, and it's the stuff like the pre-code movies. And I don't know, I kind of like those movies better than like the stuff that came out in the 40s. I know the 40s there was lots of musicals, it seems like 40s and 50s. And that's okay, but it's not like my favorite thing. I like those.
Yeah, when I saw Shane, I got the vibe of kind of the Golly G, kind of like the Leave It to Beaver. And I don't mean that in a mean way. And it was hard for me to kind of look at this. It's like, okay, am I being too cynical? Because it's hard, because I was raised in a certain time that's kind of cynical. And so looking at movies that are kind of more wholesome, it's easy to look back on and say, oh, this is really corny. They're playing the violins. And it was great. Shane was actually 100% diversity free. And I think the hero was blonde, and they had a little blonde kid. And that's something they really put out. They don't show in movies anymore, is blonde characters, if you notice that. When they do have whites, which is getting more rare, they don't have blonde hair. It's kind of like a purge against blondes.
Right.
Especially men. I never see blonde men anymore in movies, but back then it was more popular. And Shane, the good guy, he literally had a white hat, and the other guy he was going against, the kind of the villain, he literally wore a black hat type of thing. I mean, literally. So it was kind of like, oh, really? But maybe it wasn't such a cliche back then. I don't know. It just didn't really strike me as much. I just didn't feel as connected to the characters. Whereas Stagecoach, it seemed a little bit more gritty, and I kind of, it's black and white, but it still held up good. And it was early John Wayne. He played a good role he was kind of an outlaw type. I don't think he played outlaws much, and they had the Apache Indians and the whole bit. So that was actually a better movie in my opinion of the two.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen either one.
Yeah, we'll have to watch on that sometime. So, I thought we'd go over something, unless you have something else, Thatcha, about things. I always like to do these weird things I see like on the internet. And these are 12 things that were socially accepted 25 years ago. So that's not that long ago, 25 years ago, but are frowned upon today. So 25 years ago, hell, that was in the 90s. It doesn't,
No, makes you
it's
feel
kind of hard.
old.
It really does. It's just like, so we're not talking about the 50s here. We're talking just like, uh, and just get your comments on this too, and people in the chat. Number one, smoking in public places. This is something that's really changed in my lifetime. And if you look at old movies, smoking used to be just considered normal thing to do. And I'm old enough, I'm sure a lot of you guys are, when you go to out to eat, people would smoke all the time. And then the big innovation was you'd have smoking or non-smoking. And when you go to a restaurant, they would ask you, you want smoking or non-smoking? And you don't hear that anymore. It's always non-smoking, but they've really purged a lot of cigarette smoking anyway out of the public sphere. And I don't know.
Pretty much all out of public. I
Yeah,
guess you can still smoke in bars around here, but I don't know anywhere else you can really smoke. They don't even like you to smoke. Well, like when I worked at the university, everyone used to smoke outside, and that was fine, and they had ashtrays. And then these like smoking Nazis decided, like, oh, we
yeah.
need to, like, you need to be further back. And so they kind of purged it off campus. And so, like, people started going, like, well, like my friend cleans a cemetery. They started going there, and everyone was smoking there and throwing cigarette butts all over the ground instead of just letting them smoke outside with the ashtrays they could use. They go litter up people's yards, and I don't know. It's kind of stupid. Like, I don't really care if you're that upset about it. Just walk away. As long as people aren't doing it inside, who cares?
Yeah, I've never smoked really, but I'm one of those that has someone that's never smoked, but I don't really mind smoking. I think it kind of looks cool, and I'm not advocating it, but it doesn't really bother me when people smoke. I know it does a lot of other people, and it seems like it's gone so far now that, and someone mentioned this, and I think it's really true. It's considered worse now to like smoke than to smoke marijuana, for example. It's weird how that's really changed in my lifetime.
Well,
Uh,
it depends on who it is. A lot of these people on the right that hate marijuana, they would probably disagree, but I think like the most people think it's more acceptable. I think the difference is, like, at least when you smoke pot, you're getting something out of it. Where cigarettes, it's like, it's not. I mean,
yeah, so
um,
that's that has been a big change. And if you look at old movies, especially in the 60s and 70s, they come home from work and they light up a cigarette and they would have a drink. That was really part of the culture. And even some old TV shows, I watched old Johnny Carson, and all the actors and actresses, they'd be on a show, they'd light up a cigarette and they'd be talking. And it kind of looked kind of neat, really. I don't
well, I
know.
was watching Dynasty, and
Hmm.
Alexis smoked, and she made it look all glamorous the way she would
Yeah.
smoke. Well, it was in like the 40s, like in those old movies. Somebody'd light their cigarette for them. They'd pull their match out, and
Yeah.
they did it. I mean, I don't know. I think people have gotten kind of like overboard about it, because a lot of these people that lecture you about smoking weigh like 400 pounds, and I don't know.
Well,
Everybody seems to have their vice, and it's like I said, if you're not doing it inside, because it is a pain to have to clean up cigarette stuff, like the residue and everything is gross. But most people go outside now, so I don't really see what the big deal is. But then these people try to prevent people from smoking. Oh, you've got to move so many feet from the building. It's like, who cares? Just put an ashtray out there, as long as you're not like right in front of the door. I don't know. People like to just control people's behaviors, I guess.
yeah, it is. It's just crazy. And that I think Hollywood and TV, the movies, they have a code now not to show smoking in a glamorous way at all. So it's been verboten on there.
Well, I think now on some of the movies, if there is smoking, they'll put like a thing, like if it's rated like PG-13 or something, it'll say, how it used to say stuff like
Yeah,
partial nudity and stuff, and smoking's one of those things now.
that's
But like you
crazy.
said, so many people smoke pot and so many people drink. I don't know. I'm kind of almost like I'm okay with it, just because it's kind of like, to me, it means freedom if you see people smoking. And it's
Yeah,
just like, I don't know, like people just mind their own business. People want to smoke. I don't really give a shit, as long as I don't have to clean up after it. People should
yeah.
throw their butts in the garbage, if don't just litter.
I remember there's a lot of people that we really go on tirades about cigarette smoking. They just go nuts about it, against it. I mean, it was a cause celeb years ago, even before the internet. And I never really got into it. And again, just a disclaimer, I've never been a smoker. I've had a few cigarettes in my life, but it never appealed to me. So I don't smoke. I never have, and I'm not advocating that. But I did talk to my family doctor. He was kind of interesting to talk to. And he even admitted that it's kind of been a little trade-off because we got rid of smoking, but it's caused people to get fatter. Because people used to, like, when they took a break at work, they'd smoke a cigarette with no calories. Now people eat, and so
Mhm.
now we got a lot more obesity, which also causes health problems. So it's kind of one trade-off to the other.
Well, it's like I knew this lady years ago when I went to New York, and she's it was an older lady, and she smoked. And back then, everybody still kind of smoked, or most of my friends smoked. But she said she quit smoking because I think at the time I had quit smoking. I remember I would go through phases where I wouldn't smoke for like a year, and then I'd smoke
Mhm.
for like 3 months, and then I'd quit. Like I was always I was always able to quit. Like some people can't quit.
Right.
Um, I was always pretty good about being able to quit if I wanted to. But this lady said she quit for a while, but then she gained like 50 pounds or something. So she said she just started smoking again.
Mhm.
So that helped her. Because, like you said, I think it gives you something to do with your hands.
Right.
So, and it is something too. You could go take a break, like, oh, I'm going to go take a smoke break at your work. Whereas, like, I can't go, I'm going to go take a reading break at my work or something. But people understood, like, you need your nicotine fix. So,
Well, I'm so old. My high school had a smoking lounge for the students. Literally, you're in high school, you could go in the smoking area and smoke. You couldn't smoke anywhere else. So that wouldn't happen today.
right. Yeah,
Uh,
we had to go off campus if we wanted to smoke. Like that's what everybody used to do. We'd just walk across the street and be off campus. Because I remember one time somebody saw me
mhm.
and they called my first class and they want to know if I was in the class because they saw me off campus smoking. And I guess that was always kind of a thing when people
A-
would leave and they thought you were skipping school.
All right. Number two, offensive jokes and humor. And this is really sucks because jokes and humor, when it was offensive, but it was really not done always in a mean way. It kind of brought people together. Humor now is so sterile. It's not even interesting. And we were just talking like in the 80s, 90s, you watch those movies, the stuff they can make fun of, or just, like Asian jokes or homosexuals or whatever that you just can't do now.
Well, you
And
can't
it's
make fun of anybody or anything anymore, really.
except white man Christians,
That's
but
pretty
that's it.
much it.
Yeah.
Because everybody's so butthurt now about everything, and it's like, I don't know. People should just get over it and learn to take a joke.
Yeah. Just all those type of movies you could. And I just find that it's okay though. It makes the humor more edgy, the people that do it. So that is something that has changed quite a bit too. I mean, some people still do it, but unless you're like Dave Chappelle, where he's black, so he can get away with it more.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're going to see some people rebel against that, though. They still do, when they
Yeah.
can. It's just a politically correct woke society has really harmed that. I think that really harms humor because humor is basically telling the truth in an exaggerated manner, and people can laugh at it. And now you can't do that. So I do miss that. I think that is a loss for us. So that was a. All right,
Well,
number
I
three.
think,
Go
oh,
ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's part of the reason people like get nostalgic for like the 80s and 90s and back when you could still kind of do that, like the movies and stuff, because
Mhm.
now everything's woke and people are kind of tired of that woke shit.
Uh,
Um,
number four, they said gender stereotyping and advertising. I think they still do it, but just the opposite.
what does that
If they
mean?
gender stereotypes, I think they're trying to say, oh, you remember years ago they'd have the woman being the submissive housewife and the man, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Or they'll have products like if you're selling, let's say, a vacuum, you show a woman, not the man.
Well,
And
usually that's because usually the women would vacuum.
well, women make most of the household purchasing decisions, like 80%. That's why
Yeah,
they
because
targeted women because men
women
don't
tend to
really
go
care.
shopping.
They do. Yeah, they spend like 80% of the household budget in marriages, 80%. And it's not because necessarily they're going crazy. You remember that in the, speaking of offensive, the Flintstones, the Fred and Barney always were scared that women would get a hold of their credit cards,
Yeah, and they would.
charge it.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah, I like
But
the Flintstones.
a lot of it, so it wasn't, you know, to backtrack, it wasn't like all these women are spending irresponsibly. It was the guy would be like, I don't know, get what you want, you know,
Right.
you choose that, I don't. And so the marketers knew that, and they targeted for women in these ads. So if you got a, you know, like a cleaning product, that was always targeted to a woman. I would say they're doing stereotyping now just the other way. They make men always real pussies and the women in charge and all that type of stuff. So they still
Right.
do stereotyping just in another way now. If you see modern, you know, now the modern women are all empowered and bitch and heels, all that sort of thing. And the
Right.
men are always soy. So they still have stereotypes, just in a different fashion. I'd argue the stereotypes aren't gone. They just changed it in a different manner. All right, let's see what else they have here. This browser so sucks. They have this way to do it. Not recycling or being environmentally conscious. I disagree with that. I think that's not so much so you don't hear that as much anymore. I think so. I disagree with their premise. I think it was probably because this was what, 25 years ago. They said that's not that long ago.
We
Environment was a big thing in the 80s and 90s.
we recycled even in the 80s when I was a kid. We
Yeah,
recycled aluminum because you got money for it. Like we had like a big barrel in the garage, and we would like smash the cans and take them in.
yeah.
So
I think they're. This is all bullshit. I'm calling it bullshit because I lived through the 70s and 80s, and even back then they were worrying about, you know, give a hoot, don't pollute. Remember that?
right, yeah,
They don't litter, don't be a litter bug,
yep.
and they would talk about, you know, the smog and trash. I 100% disagree with that. This premise. This is, I think, they just thinking they invented it, but it's been around for quite a while, I think. Let's see. Offensive comedic stereotypes. I guess like we saw the Christmas Story and the Asian guys that can't say the L. Rah,
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 rah.
rah. Yeah, that was fun. It was
Yeah,
really funny.
yeah. I think
Just
that's
because
funny.
they can't do it now, that's what made it so funny.
I know. Uh, so I don't think that's a positive. Let's see here. Let's see here. Some of these are bullshit, so I'm just going to go over because they're dumb. And let's see here. Oh, acceptance of discriminatory dress codes. This was funny because when I joined my corporation in 1985, there were dress codes for men and women. And at the time, women had to be in skirts. They couldn't wear pants, and men had to wear a suit. So they can't do that anymore, but they definitely at the time did that. So that was the thing. I think they've gone away from that. I think it was a little better when there was a dress code and people were forced to look a little bit nicer, but I guess those days are gone here.
Now you can go to work in your pajamas.
Yeah. Traditional gender roles in parenting. I hate the word gender. I don't know if that's changed or not, or if that's just something they show on TV. I don't know. I don't know if people even parent anymore. I'm not really quite sure what goes on there. So,
I don't know.
corporal punishment in schools. I was spanked in school. I went to a private
Too.
school. They had corporal punishment. Yeah.
I did in my school too.
Yeah, so yeah, obviously, and now the kids just run wild. So I'm not against corporal punishment. I think it's who's that guy that'd be all upset at me that
Stefan Molyneux.
oh, he'd be mad at me, but I was spanked as a kid. I don't think it's
I was
bad.
too. I don't either. Well, I see some of these people I know that have kids and their kids are total brats, and it's like they don't spank them. And I don't know. I'm not saying that's the only way to discipline your kids, but if your kids are acting like crazy, maybe you should think about it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because I wasn't allowed to act the way a lot of these kids act.
yeah, I think that has changed quite a bit too. Well, there's some more on these lists, but they were too stupid that I didn't go over that. So I want to do now another one. This is 18 things 60s kids that would horrify us now. So kids in the 60s.
Oh, I wasn't a kid in the 60s.
I was, but maybe you can relate to some of these. I was 6 years old in 1969. So I guess I kind of account. So let's just go through some of these. Yeah, I can remember this one. Riding bikes without helmets.
Well, I remember that. We did that in the 80s. Nobody wore a helmet.
I never even thought of wearing
When I was a kid, none of us wore a helmet or anything. I remember I fell off my bike once and skinned both my knees and they were bleeding.
That
And
was a tradition. Yeah,
I
I
had to
did
go
that too.
back
Yeah.
up to the school, and they had to like put alcohol on me and bandage
Yeah.
me up and send me home.
Yeah, that was just a tradition. So that was I don't really quite get that one. That's kind of goofy, I think. So I disagree with that one. Well, I mean, it was true, but I don't think it's. I think people are overprotective that way. You got to have your kids be able to kind of just do their thing. I believe. I mean,
I think
life's a
so.
tough world,
Well, I wonder if
and
that's why so many of these younger people are just kind of clueless. Like I know people like this, they don't even know how to do anything that I don't know.
mhm,
Like I kind of knew my one of my best friends in school, her mom worked graveyard shift and her and her brother, she would have to cook him dinner. And she was like 12 and he was 11 or 10 and I'd go over there and she'd cook us hamburgers. Like she's the one that taught me how to cook. But it's like and we babysit really young and I
yeah.
don't even think you're allowed to do that anymore. Like my friend was 12, 13 years old babysitting.
When I
And
was
I
a
don't even
young
think you can do that anymore.
when I was a kid visiting my grandparents when we moved to Longmont, Colorado, I'd have my bike before I could drive, and I would ride all over the place. And,
Hmm.
and I had no helmet on, and
No,
no
me
one.
either.
It was just they treated kids more maturely back in the day. I think.
They did. And I think that they were a little bit more mature. Well, the only thing I remember is I did when I'd skateboard, I did have knee pads because that was kind of painful if you fell. But even when I roller skated, I never had a helmet or anything.
Here's another one. I can. I have a good story about this. No seatbelt or car seats. Yeah, when I was a little kid, we didn't have car seats. I'd ride sometimes on my mother's lap. She'd hang on to me. I was real little. And then I remember my dad and my brother. He had a pickup truck, and we'd just jump in the back of the pickup truck.
Yeah, I did
That was
that
the thing.
too. I
Yeah.
did that too. My dad always let me ride in the back of the truck. He hated seatbelts. He would not wear a seatbelt for years. Now, he would be in my car, and I'm like, buckle up because I don't want to get a ticket. And he'd refuse to do it. And I said, fine, if I get a ticket, you're paying for it. And then it was funny. He got a ticket, like he got pulled over, and then after that, he started wearing a belt. But his thing was he didn't think you should have to be forced to wear one,
I don't
which
think you
I
should
get.
either.
I
I
don't
know it's your
either.
body. You shouldn't have to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was more of a protest about freedom, I guess, till he got a ticket, and then it became like, yeah, I'll wear the seatbelt now.
Now it's a pain in the ass because the car beeps if you don't have your seatbelt on, and it
Right.
even pains now because a little fatty in there, Button, she's fat enough that she gets on the seat next to me, the seat will start to beep, so I got to put the
Really?
seatbelt on. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, I remember when I was a kid and I would ride in the back of the truck, and my dad would always tell me because we do it, in Rockford. Because
Hmm.
like around here, you could do it in the country. You could go like near where you live and stuff, and you wouldn't have to worry about cops. But he would always tell me, he'd be like, if you see a cop, like lay flat down, like it's like he always
Yeah.
hated cops and authority figures.
Yeah. The next one, this is kind of related. They said walking to school alone. When I
I used
was
to do
real
that.
little, I would take the bus to school, but in junior high, I didn't want the bus because it's just crazy. I preferred to walk. I think it was like a mile and a half I walked every day, well, one way, then going back, so it'd be 3 miles a day. But I didn't think anything of it. I had all my books, and it sucks sometimes if it's cold or when the snow got slushy. But uh, kids would walk all over the place back then, and
God,
it
me and
was
my
just
friends walked. It was like on Beavis and Butthead. They always show them walking around town and stuff. Like
mhm.
that's how me and my friends were. We just walked all over the place. Shit, I
The
used to
next,
walk all over the place like in Fayetteville when I was young. I didn't have a car for a while and I'd just walk.
this is a plane with toy guns. I guess they don't do anymore. I had a real gun at 12, but I was as long as I can remember, and I was like in the first grade or even younger. We would play cowboys and Indians, and I'd have a toy gun. And they used to make guns that they didn't have that orange thing on the front of the barrel, the muzzle.
Yeah.
It looked like a real gun, and we'd be out there, and I'd have a gun, and it was a lot of fun. I used to play that all the time, but uh, it was considered Shane, that movie I just saw, that kind of brought that up, the need for guns, that a gun's a tool and it could be good for evil or good. And that Shane was teaching the boy how to shoot a gun. So it's kind of an interesting message. But I don't know. You probably didn't play with guns because you were a girl, did you?
No.
Toy guns? No.
No, I didn't play with guns.
Oh, this one I did. My grandma got this and we played it. No one died using lawn darts. Yeah, we had lawn darts. We literally did. Those were those things you throw up in the air and go boop, and you try to get it in. You know what lawn darts are?
Mm-mm.
They banned them because some people got impaled. But yeah, we
Wow.
had darts. No sunscreen.
No, I was always having, yeah, no, my aunt knew to
Yeah,
put
we
sunscreen
had
on me.
they didn't call it when I was really young. They didn't call it sunscreen. They called it sun lotion, I believe. And you remember they had that little sun lotion with the girl, the dog's pulling down her panties, and you could see her like the white butt. Remember that?
I do. They parodied that on the cover of Rolling Stone back in the 90s with Jim Carrey.
Hmm.
Was it Copper Tone?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Copper Tone.
yeah.
They had him, and he was like that girl. He was all red, but and they had the thing like the dog pulling his pants down. Yeah, I remember that was cute. You
Well,
couldn't do
is it?
it now,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that logo now. Oh, that's child porn, or weirdos would
Right,
think that. Back then, people were more innocent. They didn't see, when you
right,
saw a little cute girl like that with her little pants going down a little bit by the dog, you go, "Oh, that's cute." You didn't think of something
right.
sick.
Well, now
But
everybody's perverted,
everyone's
so
perverted now, so they go the worst. They always go
right,
to that. It's really sick.
it is.
Um, and another thing that, speaking of this, we were lied to. At least I was when I was young. It was told that it's good to get a tan, that is healthy. Now we're told, no, no, it's not good to get a tan at all or get in the sun at all. It's dangerous,
Yeah, I
even a
was always
little bit.
told it was dangerous because I was fair-skinned as a kid, so my
Yeah,
aunt
well,
even though
but
she liked to get in the tanning bed and shit, but she was always making sure I didn't.
I remember in the 70s, tanning was like a big thing. In the 80s, even people try to get tans. That was considered I liked like women, girls. I think fair skinned girls are prettier than tan anyway. So I never understood the attraction of tanning, and it does damage your skin.
It does.
But that was
Well,
a
you can
thing.
tell the difference in people that have soaked up the sun versus people that haven't when they're
Mhm.
older.
Let's say homemade Halloween costumes. Of course, they were all,
Well,
well,
people
not
still
all.
do that though.
Yeah, we sometimes get real cheap like masks and stuff, even back then, to be honest. So
But I don't know, like, I would say that's kinda bullshit too, because a lot of people make their own. My friend,
yeah.
her and her little boy dressed up like, Freddy Krueger, and she was Nancy, and that
Mhm.
was like a homemade costume, so it's like people still a lot of people make their own I make a lot of hell, our '80s prom costumes, I made them, so
Sometimes I think these articles, Sasha, are written by AI because they made a mistake here. It doesn't even make sense. 18 things 60s kids did that would horrify us now, right? So kids in the 1960s, I would read that. And one of their thing is no internet safety concerns. Well,
well,
that's
there was no
true.
internet,
In the
though.
1960s, my parents didn't have any concerns about cyberbullying and all that type of stuff. No,
Yeah, because it didn't exist because the internet wasn't
no,
around.
that is stupid.
It is
Drinking
stupid.
water from the hose. Oh, we did that
We
all the
used to
time
do
in the
that.
summer. It
Yeah,
tasted really good. With
it was
outside
good.
playing and get the hose water. Yeah. Yeah, they don't do that anymore or something.
I
Well,
guess
they're
not.
concerned about today's parents are concerned about water quality and safety.
Oh god.
What?
I
I
can't
think
even
it's the same
imagine
thing. They
I
come
can't
from the
im
same place.
I can't imagine being a kid now and being micromanaged by these hipster type people as your parents.
Is there really any difference between water that comes from your faucet than the hose? I thought it's the same thing, really.
Well, they don't use probably, water from the faucet, they probably use a filter.
Oh, they probably do. They probably use bottled water or something.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't have bottled water when I was a kid. That's for sure.
No, we didn't get that started what, in the late '80s, early '90s? I kinda remember when it started, but it wasn't when I was a kid, or
Oh,
if it
here's
was.
some. Yeah, another thing that is horrifies that 60s kids did that would horrify us now if they did this. Working part-time jobs at a young age. What? I mean, no,
Do kids
that
not
would
work part-time jobs anymore?
I mowed the lawns. Girls used to babysit or paper routes. I
Yeah.
mowed lawns when I was a young guy. Would that horrify people now? If they are, shame on you.
Do
That
young kids
horrifies you.
work anymore? Because you don't see a lot of
No,
them like when you go to fast food. Like, even
my
when I was, like, a teenager, I worked at McDonald's, and then, there would be kids even younger than me at working McDonald's, but
mhm.
when you go now, you don't see a lot of young people working fast food. You see a lot of, like, people from, like, Mexico and stuff working anymore.
They're saying that an increased focus on education has made this less prevalent for today's children. Well, I think that's wrong. I think they should mow lawns and stuff.
They
So
should.
yeah, I mean, I I would do that. So
It's,
that's
if
pretty
anything,
good.
it kind of shows them responsibility and like
It does, yeah.
knowing to like make your own money, and the money doesn't just come so easily.
See, roaming the neighborhood until dark. I
Yeah,
don't.
we did that.
We did that all the time.
Sometimes longer than dark. Sometimes I
No,
wouldn't come home at all.
no participation trophies. Well, I think those are stupid. I
I
think
do
that's a good
too.
thing.
I do too.
So yeah, we didn't have those. You just had a first, second, or third. I remember you have a field day. I don't know if you guys had field days. You'd
We
have
did.
events and stuff. So
Yeah, because I came in fourth one time, the potato sack race, and the teacher thought I did so good. She took me aside and she gave me a little Snickers bar, and I thought this is better than a stupid ribbon. I'd rather have a Snickers bar than a
yeah.
ribbon, because she was like, "You did so good, and you tried so hard," and so
Let's say they said back then they had more unrestricted TV watching. I call bullshit. Parents, it depends on your parents, but some parents they really did restrict TV watching back then.
well, I had to
Others
sneak
didn't.
around to watch certain things
Yeah,
that I wanted to watch. That like I don't know. Then we got the movie channel when I was like 10. And if you stayed up late enough at night, I had a TV in my room. You could watch movies that weren't like kids weren't supposed to watch, like stuff like Frankenhooker
yeah.
and stuff like that would be on late at night. And I don't know, and like Toxic Avenger and stuff like that.
Most of the stuff was a little bit more friendly back in the day, but there was still some stuff my parents won't let me to watch when I was real little. So peanut butter and school lunches. That horrifies people now when they have
Well,
peanut
they're
butter.
all
When I had,
peanut butter allergies.
yeah, that's also ridiculous. We
It
used to have
is.
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That was just a staple as a young kid.
Well, when I went to seventh grade in Rockford, if you forgot your lunch or you didn't have any
Yeah.
money, that's what you got. Like if you went up and said, "Hey, I forgot my lunch money," or "I didn't bring
Yeah.
anything," like you got a free peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's what they had for the kids with no money. So you were kind of shit out of luck, I guess, if you had a peanut allergy, like you just weren't going to eat.
Mhm.
I mean, nowadays they probably just find something else for you, but I've heard that peanut thing is because they don't expose kids to peanuts at a young age.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but it does seem like there's a lot more of that than there used to be. I love peanut butter. I can't imagine being allergic to it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just ridiculous. I don't,
Oh,
yeah.
this sucks. I get a subscription for like a free subscription. It ends tomorrow for BritBox. And I
Uh-huh.
just saw they have All Creatures Great and Small, the TV show from the
Mhm.
70s, but there's like no way in hell I'd be able to watch that by tomorrow. Did you
Yeah.
ever watch that show?
I've
You would
heard
have been
of
like
it.
you would have been in high school when it was
Yeah,
on.
I might have watched some of it. Yeah.
It's
I
a
don't
good it's
remember.
a good I never saw the show, but the books are good. And then there's a movie with Anthony Hopkins that's pretty good.
Yeah. I've been on just trying to some of the things True Grit my dad has. I'm going to watch that. I've seen that though. That was a good western. So I'm just going through some old movies and that my dad had and just try to get caught up on that. So
Yeah.
that was it. And other than that, let's
Is
see
that the
here.
end of the list?
That's the end of the list. It wasn't. It was kind of a shitty list how they put these together. You know what I mean? Some of it doesn't even make sense. I think
No.
it's just like, oh, unrestricted internet use. The kids in the '60s had.
Yeah. Because there was no internet for kids in the 60s.
Idiots, I know.
They're
So yeah,
probably better for not having internet in the 60s.
yeah. I really think that's definitely the case. And I don't know. I would say some things that are different when I was a kid. Now I could probably come up with a better list. I think one of the things that was different, at least my experience, when I was like middle class family, I don't suburbia, and I don't know if it's different from other people. But when I was a kid, we didn't eat out as much as people eat out now. That was only a special occasion. We almost always ate at home.
Yeah, we did
And
too. Except on Fridays, my uncle got paid Friday, and so that was the day we'd go to eat. And a lot of times we'd go to Ponderosa, which was pretty good.
the only exception was sometimes after church because we went to church
Oh,
for a
church
while.
too, but then we
We go
skipped
to
a
like
lot of
Fur's Cafeteria, and we're like, "Ooh, that's exciting!" And
what cafeteria?
it
What was
was
it
called
called?
Fur's Cafeteria.
Was
You
it a
remember?
local owned thing?
It was back in. I don't know if they still have like cafeteria food now for just regular people, where you pay your stuff. It wasn't like now they have these buffets, right? I guess but there used to be a cafeteria. We'd go online, you get your tray,
Yeah, that's what
and
Ponderosa was.
yeah, and you just pick what you want. And it
Yeah.
wasn't like unlimited. You just go through the line and
Right,
take,
it's not a
it's not
buffet.
like a buffet. No,
No,
you'd
it's like
actually have like,
school.
yeah, but it was for regular people. And you'd have your Jello
There
dessert.
used to
Remember
be
those?
one in Fayetteville at the mall, but it's gone now.
I don't think
I
there
don't
are
think
any.
there are
I
many.
don't know of any.
I don't
No.
either.
Yeah, it was. So I remember that. That was something that was different. And I don't know. They still do stuff like pencil sharpeners and stuff like that. Where
At
our
school.
erasers, I remember if you would bang the erasers afterwards, get the chalk off that. That'd be like, oh, I got picked to do that. What a
Well,
privilege.
Wing IT Productions a chat. He wanted to know if we got his gift card and Christmas card. Which Christmas or which gift card did you send? Because we got like 3 different ones, but I don't know if we got yours.
I did a thank you on one of my shows this week, so I went through the list of them this week, and I'm sure we got yours. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate that.
Because we got a
I did do
Starbucks.
a thank you
And
during the.
we got Starbucks,
Yes.
AMC, and Amazon. So thank you for whichever one you sent.
Yes.
Like,
So
I'm not
thank you.
sure. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Because we got kind of messed up with the holidays and everything.
Yeah, and then my dad's health and everything. So
Oh,
I
we should
appreciate
use
that,
the
though,
AMC
guys.
card to go see that Lisa Frankenstein movie when it comes out.
Yeah, sure. That
That's
sounds
the
good.
only like
Yeah.
new movie I kind of want to see. And Wizard of Oz is going to be out in 2 weeks, I believe. I wrote it down, so we can go see the Wizard of
that'd
Oz.
be yeah.
Brandon
That would
doesn't want to
be
go though. He doesn't really like the Wizard of Oz for some reason. He
really.
said
I
it's
like
because
it.
it's a
Yeah.
musical. And I was like, I said, you always say you don't like musicals, but I said you liked Grease, didn't you? And he said, yeah. And I said,
Yeah.
you liked Annie, didn't you? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, those are musicals. And he said, yeah, but they'd be better if people didn't sing in them. And I said that would cut like most of the movie out, especially Grease. Can you imagine if they cut all the songs out of Grease?
Well, there'd be no
Like the
point in
movie
it.
would be like 30 minutes long or something. Like,
Yeah, that'd be dumb.
it would
Well,
be.
we got a super chat from Tony. Thank you. This is kind of interesting. It's voted 3 best comedy films: Blazing Saddles, 1974. They're going to do that one anymore because they had a lot of offensive humor.
Oh, that's going to be in theaters too this year.
Oh,
I've never seen it.
We should see it. It's funny.
It's the anniversary.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to trigger a lot of people. Oh, I'm triggered. Monty Python's Life of Brian. That was funny. I love that one. You know, like Monty Python, but I liked that. It was funny. And this is Spinal Tap, 1984.
Oh, why would Spinal Tap upset people?
No, he said these were voted 3 best comedy films.
Oh, best comedy. Oh, yeah.
Which of these did you see and your views of these films? Okay, I'll go first. Blazing Saddles was the classic. It was silly, but it was funny. Monty Python's The Life of Brian was great. It was funny. Monty Python he could be kind of offensive too, but I didn't really mind his humor. And this is Spinal Tap. 1984 was a classic. I loved all 3. Those were great comedies.
I've only seen Spinal Tap, and of course, I love Spinal Tap.
It was a funny mockumentary or whatever. That was just great. I really did enjoy that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles is going to be in theaters September 5th.
Let's go see that. It is funny.
We should, because I didn't write that one down on the list. The one, they just added one, which I know you don't give a shit about, but I care about it, is the Muppet movie.
Oh.
I'm going to go see that if it's playing here. But Labyrinth's out and it's not playing here. Yes, it's playing in Fayetteville, so it's going to be in June. So this summer, I got to write that one down. I'm going to see the Muppet movie again.
Muppet movie.
I wish it. No, we saw the Muppet movie right after I started going out with you because it was the 40th anniversary. Because it came out the year I was born, and so this is the 45th.
Yeah, that was one of my early first dates ever. I took a girl to her name was Beth, to the Muppet movie. And
how can you not like the Muppet movie?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, how somebody couldn't like the Muppet movie.
Yeah, that was one of the first movies I took a girl to, actually. That was a long time ago.
The one I'm really excited about, though, is the South Park movie is going to be out in theaters, and it's going to be a sing-along. And I was telling Brandon, and he started singing some of the songs, and I said, I know. And he's like, really? We're going to sing that at the movie theater? I said, yeah, they'll have a little ball. I think that's how they do it. And it's going to be so much fun to go in there and just like drop F-bombs for like an hour and a half because that's like the South Park movie. I think that movie had more F-bombs in it than probably any other movie.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I'm excited. I saw that in the theater when it came out back in what, 99, I guess.
Mhm.
So hopefully they keep adding more movies. This would be the 40th anniversary of Splash. Maybe they'll put that in the theater.
It's funny
Um,
they're getting all these old movies because the current movies suck so bad, pretty much.
well, what
Because
it
of the quality.
is it's this thing. I don't know how long they've been doing it. They've been doing it at least since 20. What? Let's see. At least since 2017, 2018, I think. At least, and maybe before this. It's called Phantom Events, and they
Mhm.
have it. It's like usually 2 showings, and once a month they'll do like a movie. Like I said, this year's really good list. Last year was okay. What did we saw last year? We saw Grease was one of the anniversary. They do anniversary movies. We saw Grease and The Christmas Story last year, and God, one year I went to a whole bunch of movies, but this year is going to be really good because then this month's Wizard of Oz, next month's My Fair Lady. March is Labyrinth, but it's not going to be play here. Joplin is the closest to us. And then I think April is Gone with the Wind. Steel Magnolias is like around my birthday. And then now the Muppet movie, the South Park movie. There's like a lot of good movies that are going to be in the theater, but they're usually only 2 days only. And sometimes
Right.
they'll do anime stuff like they did a bunch of Miyazaki movies a few years ago. Sadly, I didn't get to see any of those though. But I think they did almost all of his movies. Like every month, a different one would be in the theater. But
You know the way I look at it, even if they put out all woke shit anymore, there's so many good old movies I haven't seen or I want to revisit. I'll be okay. You
yeah,
know.
me too.
Dylan, thank you. You have to really hate the Romans if you want to join the JPF Judean People's Front. That was from the Life of Brian.
Oh, I've never seen
It,
it.
yeah, that was a classic scene. You gotta like British humor.
I
If you don't
don't.
like British, but you want to like it. I don't think you would
Well,
like
would I
it.
like Blazing Saddles in? Because isn't that
Yeah,
like
you'll
British?
like Blazing Saddles. You'll
You
think
think
it's
I
funny.
would? Who's in it?
Yeah. Let me just go over the list here so I don't want to miss anyone. Saddles cast. I mean, it's like an all-star cast back then. It was Gene Wilder, Slim Pickens, Harvey Korman,
I like Harvey
Mel
Korman.
Brooks. I don't know. Some of these names ring a bell here for you. I
Yeah, they
mean, these
do.
are,
I know
yeah,
Gene Wilder, Harvey
yeah.
Korman.
It was just fun. I think you would like that a lot.
We can go
It's
see it. It's going to be out in
yeah, definitely.
September.
Yeah, I definitely want to see
I'll
that
write
with
it
you.
in the
So
book. And then in July,
Monty Python is kind of when I went to that C++ convention in Boston years ago. I know geeky. We all voted on a movie, and Monty Python movie was Meaning of Life or whatever it was, or the Search of the Holy Grail. That was the movie chosen. So that shows you the type of people. It's kind of a geek type
no,
male
I know.
thing.
I was friends with some geeks in school, and they were in that. Well, you knew one of them, and
Monty Python, yeah,
they brought that over and forced me to watch it, and I was like, "This is dumb." And then like I had a
yeah.
boyfriend, and he was kind of a nerd too, and he just dated up, and me and Moscow would usually go do something else.
Yeah,
Like
that'd be a good question. Are there any women that like Monty Python? It's
oh,
really
I'm
a
sure there
male.
are. I bet there
Yeah,
are.
it's mostly
There
yeah,
are,
yeah.
but I don't know. I just always thought British humor was kind of like
I like it. I
stupid.
actually like The Office. They did it in the UK first, and they ported it to America. And I think the British Office was a lot better. I really do.
Well,
So
when I
a
went
lot of
to
go ahead.
oh, sorry, go ahead. I say when I went to Amsterdam, they showed a lot of British TV over there,
Mhm.
and I smoked some hash, and I was in my hotel room that night, and there was some British show on, and because there was nothing good on, and it was in English, so I could watch it. And there was a part where this British guy is trying to train a dog or something, and he has a shoe in his mouth, and he's going like this. And of course, people walk in on him, and it's the stupidest shit ever. And I was laughing my ass off. And I'm like, okay, I've smoked too much stuff. I should not be laughing at the stupid British show. And I thought
Yeah.
maybe that's why it's popular. You have to be like stoned out of your mind to find it funny. But that's the only time I ever thought British shows were funny. Like,
Yeah,
I don't remember
it's
what it was
different.
called. I wish
They
I
kind of
remember what
have
it was
drier
called.
humor, a little bit more subtle, I think. So you gotta, I don't know. It's the like The Office, the UK Office is more subtle humor, whereas American humor is more in your face type of humor.
Mhm.
It's not one's better than the other. It's just they're different styles.
I
So
like humor where people get the shit beat out of them and stuff. Like, I like,
so
I
you
like
would like
slap.
the Three Stooges. They said
I
someone
did
in the
when I
chat
was a
said like women wouldn't like the Three Stooges, but they were always beating the shit out of
No,
each
when I
other.
was a kid, I liked the Three
Yeah.
Stooges, but like, well, that's what they said kind of ruined a lot of the silent movies, like stuff like Harold
Mhm.
Lloyd movies, where somebody get hit in the head and it'd make a bonk
Well,
sound,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
kind of funny. And then they said when sound came in and you'd hear it, it's like, ugh, it's not like cartoonish when there's
yeah,
no like real sound or it's music instead of like sound effects. But it was funnier. But like I used to love on Mad TV, they would do that Kenny Rogers stuff.
yeah.
And they did one where they did Punked, and it was just like Kenny Rogers was on Punked, and they were like beating the shit out of him. And it was just like, I don't know why I thought it was funny. Well, stuff like Dumb and Dumber, where Jim
Mhm.
Carrey did all that stuff and he pulled the guy's heart out and he put it in that doggy bag. Like all that stuff I find funny.
Yeah,
But
I thought that's funny. I kinda like was real s I like the movie Airplane. That was just
well, I
corny
liked
humor, but I loved it.
Airplane. We should
So
watch
I
that
don't it doesn't
sometime.
have to be sophisticated humor. I like silly humor
Oh, I
too.
love
It's funny.
silly. I love
Yeah,
camp. I mean, my God, like
yeah.
the movies
But
I grew up in are the cheesiest 80s
yeah, some
comedies,
movies
like
can be really
Mannequin
funny.
and Earth
Yeah.
Girls Are Easy. I saw somebody on Twitter ask today, like, what's your favorite Gina Davis movie besides Beetlejuice? And I thought, well, I don't even really think of her when I think of Beetlejuice. I
Mhm.
think of Michael Keaton or Winona Ryder, but I was thinking The Fly, and then somebody
Uh-huh.
down below said Earth Girls Are Easy, and I'm like, oh, I love that movie too. And that's like a silly
Uh-huh.
movie, but I like those types. But yeah, I like the silent movies like Chaplin and Buster Keaton and stuff, and of course Harold Lloyd. I think those are funny. But then
Yeah.
I like stuff like the South Park movie, and South Park's funny to me, the old episodes, and I've loved Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead is funny. It's just dumb but funny. So there's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of yeah.
it's really funny. Mosca even sent me a clip the other night of them talking about Cardi B. They
Yeah.
were watching that like video for Wet Ass Pussy, but they were adults.
Uh-huh.
Like the Beavis and Butthead as adults, and they were even talking about how dirty it was, and like it's just like people were making jokes, like this is bad if Beavis and Butthead like are criticizing it, and it was
Yeah,
funny.
oh, Robert has a question for us. This is a good one too. So thank you, Robert. And this was voted all time, the top three voted all time movies. And he wants to know, did you view all these three and like what did we think about it? Number one, 2001 Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick. I loved it. A lot of people wouldn't like it. I get it. It's a movie they couldn't make anymore, not because of political correctness, just because it doesn't. I like movies where they just don't spell everything out for you, but most American audiences don't like that anymore. They like things pretty simple. I loved it, but a lot of people don't. I get it. It doesn't mean you're dumb if you don't like it, but it's just I liked it. I think it was really good. Citizen Kane, I thought was good. I thought it was a little overrated, though, to be honest. 1941 and The Godfather. That's a classic. I loved it. I mean, it was kind of started all the mobster movies, and I thought they did it really well. And Al Pacino is a brilliant actor. Which of those three have you seen, Sasha, and your thoughts?
I have not seen 2001: A Space Odyssey. I was gonna watch that when I was younger, and I lived with Mosca, and he watched it, and he told me that it was. Now he disagrees. Now he likes it for some reason, but he hated it when we were in high school, and he told me that he would rather slit his wrists than sit through that movie again. It was that boring. And then another friend of mine told me he liked it when it came out in the 60s, and it was really cool. But then he said he watched it again as an adult, and he thought it was kind of overrated. So I've never seen it. Citizen Kane, I liked, but it's been years since I've seen that. I could actually watch that again because it's been so long. I know it's based on William Randolph Hearst and
Yes.
Marion Davies, and I don't know. A lot of people at the time said they kind of portrayed her in a bad light. She's actually supposed to be a really nice lady. Like she gave a lot of money to charity, and when he was like going broke, she sold a lot of her jewels and gave him
Uh-huh.
a lot back. So I think she did care about him, but they made her out to be kind of like a bird brain in that. But I'm kind of like you. I think it's a little overrated, but I love The Godfather. That's a great movie. I can't watch the part with the horse. I always turn my head because I know that's coming. But
Hmm.
other than that, yeah, The Godfather's great. Like the first two are really good. The third one, There's a reason the third one wasn't that good, and it was because his daughter was in it, Sofia Coppola. And I like her as a director, but she couldn't act. And it kind of like messed the movie up just because the acting was so bad. Like, you should watch it though. But I mean, there were some cool parts. Like, there's a part where they're all having a meeting, all the mobsters, and there's this like shootout. I remember that part, but what's the matter? Hello?
We're lagging again. I don't know if it's on my end. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I
Okay,
can hear
we were
you.
lagging. It might have been on my part. We're having some internet issues, and I don't know
It's probably
if
the
it's my
weather.
part, your part, or it could just be the network because it's so damn cold out now. So
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know
it's
what's happening.
my door wouldn't lock earlier before it started to snow. I was going to go to Walmart, and I could not get the freaking door to lock, so I couldn't leave.
It's a bitter cold out there, guys. I mean,
It's in
I
the
feel it in the
negatives, I
house.
think.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
about to be. It is 4 degrees right now.
yeah, where I am is 3. It's probably even a little close. It's
Feels
probably even
like
colder because I'm on the mountain. So we're in the nearest city that I don't really live in is 20 miles away. It's 3. I'm usually 5 degrees cooler than that city. So I'm up on the mountain. It's probably negative degrees here. It's cold.
well, this is what it feels like according to weather.com. It feels like -6.
Yeah.
So it is. I mean, I've got a blanket in my lap to keep my legs from being cold.
I'm sitting here with a sweater
on,
on and I'm still cold, and I got the space heater going on and everything, but still getting cold. So, here we got one from Johnny, and this is for me because I watched the Monty Python. Monty Python's 5 movies were, and now for something completely different.
I've seen that
Python and the
one.
Holy Grail, the meaning of life, Life of Brian, Monty Python live at the Hollywood Bowl, and the meaning of life. Rank these as favorites. I don't. You have to.
You're frozen. I can't hear you. There you go. Now I can hear you again. You kind of
I'm
froze.
crashing. Yeah, I'm crashing, guys.
All right, maybe we should just answer his question and then we should go.
Yeah, we should. I did his answer. Sorry, guys, I'm having internet difficulties, and I don't know if it's on my ancestors end or the network.
No, it's yours. Everyone says it's you.
Yeah,
because you just like froze. So
yeah,
it's the weather. It's got to be. Like I said, I couldn't even lock the door.
Yeah.
And Mosca told me he couldn't even get his car started. In fact, when I went out earlier to start the car, it took a minute to get it to turn over because it was so cold. The car didn't even want to start. So yeah, we're not used to this kind of cold here.
No, we aren't. We're kind of whipping. I am whipping. I got to take a button out. She's going to have a fit, and I'm going to have a fit too.
Make sure she lays an egg so she doesn't like crap all over the floor.
She probably will.
It was fun though. I wish we could have gone a little longer.
If you guys ever heard that expression, it's kind of an inside joke because my grandmother, she was a very polite woman. And when her dog would go number 2, she wouldn't call it poop. She would say, "Oh, little Zuki laid an egg out there." And that meant going,
Yeah. And now you've got us all saying lay an egg. I said that to Brandon the other day and he kind of chuckled.
Yeah. So we'll see. Well, I fed her tonight. She probably does have to lay an egg. So I'll take her out there.
Because I'll probably be
guys.
stuck here.
I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully the Ramsey Paul show, if the internet connection stays good, and it's supposed to be cool for the next 2 days. I think it will. I don't know why it's just kind of going on. It's fine, strong now. It's going on the blink every once in a while. So
yeah, I think it was a little worse than they thought it was going to be. Because I thought the snow was supposed to only snow for a couple hours, and I went around 6. It was still snowing. So they got more than they thought, I think.
Yeah, they've already closed all the schools, and a lot of businesses are closed tomorrow. So
it's kind of messed up though, because most schools are probably closed tomorrow already because it's Martin Luther King Day. Yeah, so I bet a lot of people are pissed off they lost a day that would have been a snow day.
You know
what I mean. So I don't know, but Tuesday, I'd be surprised if stuff's going on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's not going to warm till Wednesday. It's not.
Well, the high is supposed to be 15 tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe lower. I think
11 is what I saw. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it's 11 and then it's going to get down to negative something, it's not going to melt. And it's supposed to be 20 for the high the next day. So
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
crazy.
I don't see
No,
I'll
I
probably
don't
be
either.
trapped in this apartment for a couple days, I
And I'll
bet.
be in here, so hopefully
Starting
I
to
can
go
get
a little nuts. I kind of want to go walk somewhere, but it's too
I
damn
am.
cold to
I'm
go
ready for
anywhere.
warm weather in spring, that's for sure.
Well, it's nice not to have to go to work though, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to complain too much. It's better than summer. I prefer this
Yeah.
to burning up.
Yeah, I don't know. When now I'm always fantasizing about the summer, but in the summer I
Not
fantasize
me.
about the winter because it does get hot here too. But
Just enjoy, just get in front of your heater and read your book.
yeah,
Just enjoy it. That's kind of what I think. I think, well, I don't have to go to work. I don't have to go to my dad's. I'm stuck here, so I might as well do stuff I enjoy. It's kind of like a free day off.
yeah, we'll do that. So, guys, I'll see you tomorrow, and thank you, Sasha, for joining. It's good to be back with Night Owls, and we'll talk to you guys later.